Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conversations of KGPNs. Today, we are thrilled to host the exceptionally inspirational Mr. Manish Kumar, an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur with a B.Tech in Ocean and Naval Architecture. He is the global of strategy at Siemens Energy. He also holds an MBA from Harvard Business School and currently serves as an adjunct professor at the University of North Carolina State. His career at Siemens includes founding and leading Hummingbird. Previously at GE, he was team manager. His journey from design engineer to global leader showcases his relentless creativity and innovation. So, sir, my first question is, you have come from a very humble background, from a small town near Muzaffarpur, Bihar. So preparing for JEE wasn't a trend in those days, especially in small towns. So how was your JEE journey?
Yeah, first of all, Shreya and Devendra, thank you so much for reaching out. I think what you are doing is a little bit emotional, and also I find it very inspirational as well. What you both are doing is taking your time out and connecting the old KGPNs to the new ones. Put it this way. Um, yeah, I had my beginning in a place in India, very close to Muzaffarpur. I belong to Sivhar. It's now a district. That time it was not a district. Um, Getting to JEE, I would say it was considered a very dream destination for all the aspiring students at that time. Um, I consider myself little fortunate to have the opportunity to get into IIT. Um, the inspiration came from my parents who encouraged me to uh, do things in math, science, and um, I would say the hard work and perseverance actually pushed me to do things. Otherwise, I would consider at this time that um, yeah. So getting into IIT has been a dream, and it came true. So back to the question, yeah, I consider myself fortunate to be there.
So that's great, sir. Sir, we will have, sir, we all have gone through the after J transformation when we arrive at the campus. Sir, so when we arrive at the campus, hall becomes a big part of what we go through the after J transformation. So, sir, what was your hall, sir? Sir, the most important question for the KGPs.
Yeah, so let me think and recollect. So we were allotted JCB Hall when we went there, and the first big topic was, are we going to stay alone or will there be another roomie in the JCB Hall? And number of students was more than number of rooms we had at that point in time. So the big question in everybody's mind was, oh, who I'm going to live with?
Hmm.
And there was a lottery draw, and as a student life goes, we were very curious, who is going to stay with whom. Looking in the hindsight, the person you picked up to live with, uh, you create a very good bond and memory for a long time.
Yes, sir.
So although it didn't last a very long time, we were actually allotted a single room. But if I remember correctly, if my memory serves well, the person that I was chosen to live with is Sanglap Saha. He was in energy engineering. So
Sir is still in touch with him.
uh, yes, little bit.
Okay, sir. Shreya?
So, also, was there a night canteen at that time in JCB? Because
Oh,
today there it is.
today there is or there is not?
There is.
There is, okay. So night canteen has been part of KGP from I don't know how long. And
Yes, sir.
although we think that IIT gets all the intelligent students, but they are all owls, yeah. In Hindi we call them ullu, right? They're
Yes, sir.
all nisacher. Yeah, that's another word I could use. And so it doesn't matter what time you are roaming around, you will find some crazy people. You know. Um, so we had a night canteen. It in JCB. Let me think about it. Was it in JCB or was it in other halls around? Um, I think there was a night canteen in JCB. It was near the grocery store or a small store in the hall. Um, and they used to serve a lot of interesting foods. Um, we can talk about that if you want to know. I'm curious to see what uh, Tinku and Delta are they still served in IIT campus? I don't know, but these are some of the food we had. Yeah,
Tinku and Delta.
yeah, Tinku and Delta. So if you don't know what are those things, then that means they have disappeared from the campus. Do
Yes, sir.
we have Chedis on the main gate?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very active.
Very active, right? So you are reminding me of some interesting things. So thank you for asking that question. Yeah.
So please
So,
share some of the memorable moments from the your campus life.
I think 1 hour interview is not enough for getting down the memory lane. You know, the most memorable 4 years of our life was in IIT Kharagpur. Not a single day would pass without without fun, drama, and excitement. Um, there are many that ranks into memorable days. The whole culture of doing nothing and sitting on the balcony, and I don't know what the lingo is called today, that we used to call bhat marna hai baith ke, right? Everybody would sit there, and thus we would solve all the problem of the world, sitting there talking to each other. Um, in our wing, we had a nice space that would have a lot of sunshine. So every wingy will sit there and we call this as a mali sadda. People would sit there and sleep, and the other person would apply oil and do some massage. Yeah, which sounds very weird, but uh, that to me it stands out as the most memorable time. Yeah,
it's great to know that.
yeah.
Uh, you were very active in the hall. You won the Best General Secretary Award, and you were also the hall president. So, you had a great academic award in the campus. So, how did you manage everything so well?
I I think I don't know if I was managing so well. I will come to the topic of what motivated me to do so many things. And so first, I was very picky eater. So it was in my own interest that something good is cooking in the kitchen. So even before getting into mess secretary, I volunteered myself as a mess committee member. And whatever time I would get after the class work and everything else, I would enter into the kitchen with a very simple interest that I can influence what is getting cooked so that I can eat. So that was one motivation. Very secretly, I'm sharing that with you. But what that resulted into is, that created a good friendship with the mess workers and also had an influence on the food quality. So back then, the general secretary, who was 1 year higher than us, he motivated me to get into a mess secretary role or job, or stand up for election. And the election for mess secretary was uncontested, because everybody thought that, oh, this guy lives in the kitchen, so we'll get a good food, no worries. Um, and so I went and taken the role of general secretary mess, and had some influence on this. I think I can say it very clearly that LLR Hall, or Lallu Hall, as it is, I don't know, fondly called. I don't know what's the name of the hall today, but we used to call it Lallu Hall then. And so Lallu Hall had the best, food, and that's a common knowledge. So We always used to make more food than the hostel could feed to the students, because students from other hostel used to come, especially when we have a special food days like 3 days in a week. There will be line outside our mess, so that was a satisfaction. I think coming back to the really uh, sensitive part of the question is, how do we manage doing multiple things? And I have a slightly different message to all the students here is, you need to have different things going on in your life to have a balanced view. So for example, if I would be only studying and doing nothing else, I can also tell you with confidence that I would not be doing a great job in study. So every student coming to IIT, and you know, I have, maybe I'm biased a little bit. It's not saying that people who don't go to IIT doesn't have these qualities, but by and large, every student that is in IIT Kharagpur, regardless of what discipline, what branch, what rank, they have earned their place to be in. So that tells me that they're creative, they're hardworking, right? So now the topic is, are you balancing your life with things that you like doing and things that is forcing you to learn something new? And anybody who says that learning is fun, my perspective on learning is, learning always comes with hard work. There is a hard work component of learning.
Yes,
There
sir.
is there is a stress that is driving the learning. And so you need to have a balance of learning and doing something else. And then when I come to learning, then the question is, what is learning? Right? So this topic is what I say, that IIT Kharagpur is blessed with opportunities that will help you to learn multiple topics. So it's not just learning engineering. It's not just learning science. How do you live with people? How do you build relationship? How do you get work done? How do you motivate? Right? And so for your balanced development, what I say as learning is this all round learning environment. And if you look back and see from a different perspective, as a mess general secretary, I was managing a fund of about 3 to 4 lakh rupees per month. Right. So at that young age, if I say I am the CEO of Lallu Hall Mess, right? I have 3 lakh rupees as operating budget. I have 25 mess worker as my really kind, loving employee. And I have 300 students as my customer, right? So
Yeah.
I have to keep my customer happy. I have to keep my employee motivated, right? And deliver the result that everybody is happy with, the mess food. And I'm evaluated 4 times a day,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And and so how would you get an opportunity to run a company at such a young age? So if you think from this perspective, I'm actually in my second year, completing third year. I'm actually getting a job to run a company where I have 300 customers every single day to feed them 4 times. I have 3 lakh rupees as operating budget, and I have 25 employees to take care of. And then there is no boss,
Hmm.
there is no salary, there is no stress for performance appraisal. But if you think it differently, you are evaluated 4 times a day by your fellow roommate. Yeah. And they will not choose their words. They will say, boss, खाना तेरा आज बकवास है, कल कुछ ठीक कर ले, नहीं तो लात पड़ेगी, right? So now you get the idea.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, So that's a great perspective, sir, to look at from a new perspective. This is, sir, you are from sir Ocean and Naval Architecture, and you got your first job in the General Electric. And General Electric all generally allows the mechanical and the aerospace guys only. So for the even their pre-placement talks, they allow only the mechanical and aerospace. So sir, how did you get into the GE? Sir, how did that happen?
Yeah, I think the person that I'm grateful to who hired me at GE, his name is Damodar Padhi. I'm still in touch with him. Um, and for him, I'm the only naval architect that he has hired. So um, the story goes back is I wanted to get into mechanical, um, as a course. And as you all have experienced, my JE rank was not that high so that I can get a mechanical engineering. And so I settled with ocean engineering and naval architecture. But then deep within the course, um, there were a lot of mechanical related topics. And I had a deep interest in mechanics and mechanical engineering. So I focused into those topics a little bit more. Also taken some electives that are more related to mechanical and fluid and other topics. And so looking at GE not allowing naval architecture to apply was a disappointment. And and to explore that, I went into the pre-placement talk myself. And towards the tail end of the pre-placement talk, I raised the question that to GE colleagues that look, you are hiring colleagues to do mechanical design, CFD, structural simulation. Then why are you recruiting only from aerospace or mechanical? Can you not open it to other disciplines?
Hmm.
Because we also read those subjects, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and you can evaluate using your entrance test or your interview. And if you find us successful, then please do not stop candidates from other departments, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and and that discussion led to a point that senior HR manager there from GE, he said that, yeah, you want to apply? Okay, then just take this form, fill it up right there, and come for the entrance test. And then what happened is history. So I went and gave the written exam and interview, and was was hired by GE to work on aircraft engine. Um, and so that's how I entered into GE. The the moral of this topic is what I think is important for students is um, we define our boundaries, right? And again, anybody entering into IIT during my time said, okay, if I am not getting computer science, then I'm done, right? The reality is it doesn't matter which department you are getting into, whether it is computer science or anything else. Um, what I want to convey through this topic is uh, do well in studies because that's again why you are there. Um, but the field of study doesn't define what you want to do. It is one important element that yes, I am studying chemical engineering or I am studying naval architecture. Um, I personally do not like not to do justice with that study. I think there is a responsibility both for you and your department that is there, that they're investing time and energy into this. So my approach will be do as good as you can in the field of study that you are in. Um, however, don't let that define what you want to do. And if you zoom out from the topic of yes, I am given this course, you can actually look yourself on a broader canvas and say, what can I do?
Hmm.
And on those topic, especially IIT Kharagpur has unlimited opportunities to grow in multiple directions.
Hmm.
Right. So,
Yes, so
all
that's
right.
very inspiring to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
So you had joined as a design engineer at GE. Then you took up quality role and then as team manager. So how was your tenure at GE?
Uh, I think it was excellent. I'm very fortunate that G allowed me to work on multiple topics. Um, and this is I'm coming back to a little bit of experience. Is when you enter into a job, and the common wisdom in student life, and even I would say that we all had the same sort of a mindset that we will study and then we will get into job and then it is job. The reality is, um, learning never stops and it should not stop. Yeah, and I will take a little bit of a moment of pause to let this settle in. Is when you enter into IIT, you get into first semester, then you get into second semester, then you get into third semester, right? Within the semester, you learn different subjects. So things are happening in a very structured way. When you enter into a company, you lose that structure. Mm. Now you don't have a semester after semester, right? And so what it does to students is not realizing this, that we have lost the structure of learning. And that doesn't mean that you should lose the momentum of learning, right? So what it means is, once you enter into a company and you got a job, that now, Devendra or Shreya, you are a design engineer. Sure, you are a design engineer. Like when you got admission into IIT Kharagpur, you said, okay, you are a naval architect or ocean engineering person, right? But they are
Yes.
not telling you is that don't go to your mess and don't do a general secretary mess work, or don't get into a hall committee. So the point I'm trying to drive home is, what your defined activity is there, it is for you to do well there. That's okay. But then you should look and seek what other opportunities exist that I can actually learn and grow myself. So not everybody knows that when I was a design engineer, I decided to learn Six Sigma, and then went one step further, that I wanted to teach Six Sigma within General Electric campus. So I became a trainer of Six Sigma while actually doing a design engineering work. And so what happened is, then this got noticed, and then I went into a quality role. While doing the quality role, I started thinking about other topics that I can learn. So back to the heart of the topic is, you always have opportunities where you can actually grow yourself and try to learn. If there is one single quality that I would want students to continue doing, is have a curious mind and try to force yourself to learn something that you don't know. This is one single thing that has actually helped me in life until now. And so I never understood the sentence that when you stop learning, you stop growing. So go
Yes.
with that mindset that I need to learn. Yeah. And there is learning everywhere.
Yes, sir.
So,
So that's truly exceptional, sir, that you started with design engineering, then you started teaching at the GE campus. So, so you had founded the Hummingbird bird project at the Siemens In fact, before leading that, you were worked as an engineer in that project. Sir, so sir, what was the story and the idea behind the Hummingbird project? Could you please tell something about it?
Yeah, so Hummingbird has been a fascinating startup. Um, the story behind it is rather simple, and it is rooted in the village and the area where I come from. Um, Now the power situation in India is better, but when we were growing up, there was everywhere power cut, and the only way to get electricity was running a generator. And that situation was no better when we came to places like even Bangalore or in Delhi or Patna. Um, there were apartments, and then you will see diesel generator just as a backup power when power goes away. Okay, so that's one topic that was in our head. Um, when I started working in General Electric, all we do is power plants. So we will make equipments and power plants to supply electricity to the world. And so I was thinking that all my life I'm working with exceptionally talented people who are designing product to make bigger and bigger power plants. And then I come from a place where uh, tens and 20 millions of people are living in places where they are running a small generator just to keep the lights on. So Hummingbird idea was that can we take the technology from bigger power plant and bigger machines and make a smaller version of it?
Okay.
And then so we were working on a topic of miniaturizing the technology of turbine so that you can have a desktop size power plant, which then you can run using any fuel that you have locally, including hydrogen, including uh, vegetable oil, including biogas. And so that's all about Hummingbird. Uh, the reason it was called Hummingbird is we experimented an engine so small that we can put it on a drone and actually fly it.
Okay.
And so this startup was funded through Siemens Energy, Siemens Next 47. It's a venture arm of Siemens. Um, and so we had some excellent experience running this program and lot of learnings.
Sir, so how is this different from the generator? So generator also takes up some fuel, then it generates. Sir, so
Yeah.
how is it different from the generator?
So the difference comes from two topics. One, the efficiency side of it,
Hmm.
and the second one is flexibility side of it. So if you have a gas engine, which is the diesel engine, you have only one choice of fuel. You are only running it using diesel. In the Hummingbird topic, we separated the engine portion of it, which was a gas turbine, to the fuel portion of it. And so now your flexibility is very high. You can run this using vegetable oil if you want, or you can run it using hydrogen, or you can run it using biogas uh, with no change in the hardware. So your ability to switch fuel was very high. And we were also looking into the future direction of installing a solar panel and then electrolyzer, and so that you can produce your own hydrogen. So when there is no sun, when there is no renewable energy, you can actually convert that into hydrogen and then run it again into gas turbine. And so this closed loop system was another excitement that we wanted to have that. So those were the difference.
Hummingbird was truly an incredible idea.
Uh, yeah, absolutely. And that's why it got attention and we kept, developing those technologies. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, last year you have joined as adjunct professor at University of North Carolina State. teaching about decarbonization. Even after being in corporate, you are teaching. So, how do you manage this?
Yeah. So this one I will connect you to the first questions you have asked, right? So when I was in Sivhar, back to my basics, uh, I had to teach, to earn, and then to do my 11th and 12th grade. So we had some financial challenges growing up, and I was good in maths and science. So and there was one element of it is I was also good in explaining things and putting some stories. So I started teaching when I was in eighth ninth grade. And so the topic that stick with me is I can teach and explain. And so keep that in back of your mind there. And then I entered into General Electric and I started teaching again Six Sigma, to the colleagues around. So there was a continuity of that. And then I came to Siemens and then went into management positions. And then a part of my job was to teach and explain younger employees. So there is a continuity of this topic that, okay, I like teaching, I'm happy doing that. Um, and so I wanted to find an outlet where I can actually now teach the energy topic and its impact on environment. And so the opportunity presented itself. The head of mechanical engineering at UNC Charlotte, he reached out for me to suggest an employee from my organization who could come and teach, or do I know anybody who could teach? That was his request. And I said, "Oh, actually, I would be interested in teaching myself." And so, really, uh, can you find time? And I can tell you with honesty that this is the most important and enjoyable part of my job every day. That when I go to teach. So my classes run in the evening. I take 2 classes every week during spring and fall semester. And the courses that I teach, I develop myself. So it's also a lot of learning. What is happening in the climate? What is happening in the world of decarbonization? And and so it is basically a continuity of my interest from early childhood, if that makes sense, to connect this back to the topic. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you have been in sir energy sector for a very long time, sir. Then, so with the increase in the climate change and we are trying to shift to the non-conventional fuels, renewable sources of energy.
Mm.
Sir, what do you think about it? That how long it would take us to make a shift, and we are trying to zero the carbon emission production. So how long we would be taking it?
Um, do you want an honest answer or answer that can make you happy?
So we want an honest answer.
All right. So the world that we are living in today, we are more or less roughly putting 50 gigatons of carbon every year. And the trend is in the wrong direction. Now, to understand this at a fundamental level, why carbon comes into the atmosphere, I give you a simple story here. Um, let's say, Devendra, you are a person who survives by eating only fruits, or you are eating only apple, right? मान लेते हैं कि आप फलाहारी हो, आप फल खाते हो, right? Then you step back and ask yourself how the fruit is growing. The fruits are growing in the tree, right? How the tree is growing. The tree is growing because somebody planted a seed and the tree is becoming big. But
Yes.
here is the fundamental thing there. The sun is cooking carbon dioxide using chlorophyll of the plant, and the
Hmm.
plant is actually growing. And if
Yes.
you if you have gone into organic chemistry, the tree is actually a organic material. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is an organic material? It is full of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, right?
Yes.
So the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere became the tree.
Hmm.
The fruit that you have has a lot of carbon into it.
Hmm.
That
Yes.
actually got converted from atmosphere into the fruit.
Yes.
Now you are eating that fruit.
Hmm.
You are burning that in your body. And what
Yes.
you breathe out?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. So what I tried to tell you is that this is the simplest form of carbon cycle.
Yes.
All right. So now if I tell you the apple is a fuel,
Hmm.
would you believe me or would you say no?
So we would believe you.
So apple is a fuel, right?
Yes.
Now extend this a little bit. The apple, the tree, and the plants and the animals that eat that, they all got, all died. They went inside the ground and they became oil, gas, coal. Would you
Hmm.
believe me on this story?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now what are we doing? We are using that fuel to operate all the machines that we look around, right? We are burning those fuel. And what is coming out as a result of this combustion process is carbon.
Hmm.
The foundation of our planet right now is based on the energy that we derive. And the energy that we derive is actually mostly coming from the fuel that we just talked about. Whether the fuel what we are eating or the fuel that has become coal, oil and gas, everything else. All right. So all the work that is needed to be done requires energy, and
Yes, sir.
all the energy that we need has a carbon impact. And it is not only, and then this is what I'm trying to come to the conclusion. It is not only that we are burning fuel to run cars or we are burning fuel to produce power. We are also burning fuel to make iron and steel. We are also burning fuel to make cement. And now I come to a very simple topic. The food that we eat today is produced using fertilizer.
Yes, sir.
The fertilizer is coming from ammonia. Ammonia is coming from hydrogen and nitrogen. The hydrogen that is used to make ammonia is coming from natural gas. So the food that we are eating today is actually fueled by natural gas.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So that's where I said that you want an honest answer. The honest answer is the world that we have today is loaded with carbon in a mysterious and exhaustive way. And so now we need to peel that onion back and put the genie back into the bottle called carbon emission. We have to rethink all dimensions of life. It's not electricity production.
Yes.
And the last leg of this topic is the food that we eat, we breathe out carbon dioxide. The food that we don't eat and we throw it into the dustbin, it actually emits methane gas.
Yes, sir. Eventually.
Eventually, methane gas is roughly 22 times more global warming potential than carbon dioxide. And now I ask a simple question. Why do we throw food which is good to eat? And if you go into the world of food wastage, food wastage has a big contribution of global warming, something that we don't talk about every day. So the point is, there are multiple dimensions and aspects of our life that we need to rethink when we try to save the world from carbon emission. And that will require a comprehensive approach. And it's just not putting a solar panel or running a wind turbine that can save the planet. Those are good direction, but not the all the direction there.
So you said about your
Yes.
teaching skills, sir. You said truly an exceptional, sir.
All right, thank you. So I went into that mode a little bit, but
So in fact, sir, this is something, sir. Well, we as a student never heard of that. Carbon emission is related to the food, is also related to somewhat about food wastage. So you definitely gave us a new perspective, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And so next time you go to IIT Kharagpur mess, just look at if your students are not eating food and they're putting that into the dustbin, right? Ask the question, right? So why are we doing this? And that goes back to one topic that you want to laugh now. If the food is not cooked properly, that can lead to global warming. Then people are
It's
throwing it
surprising
throwing
why.
throwing throwing it more into the dustbin, right?
Yes, sir.
It's surprising we don't talk about this.
We
We
don't talk
are
about
more
this.
focused. Yes, sir. We are
Yeah,
more focused on the fuel part always.
right. 1 ton of methane is equal to 22 tons of carbon dioxide. And so a food which is rotting in the outside open or landfill, it is generating methane, right? So all right, I didn't want it to bore you with the decarbonization topic, but
No,
No,
sir,
sir.
that was
Not.
something fresh to hear about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so,
right.
you have been in corporate for now 2 decades.
Yeah.
So, what changes you are expecting with upcoming age of AI?
Upcoming age of AI. So I will go back 20 years and say, same question could be asked that, what do you think about upcoming age of computer, right? Uh, have you done drafting? Was drafting part of the curriculum in first year, second year?
No, sir.
No, drafting was not. Okay, I'm happy if it was not. So drafting is actually, making the engineering drawing on paper, yeah, using drafters and other instruments. Um, the question was in everybody's mind is 20 years ago or 30 years ago is how is computer going to change the world? And the question in front of everybody's mind now is how AI is going to change the world. The common perception is AI is some alien topic and everything will be different. I do not see that way. What I see is the reality that we will be moving into is AI as computer was is just a tool. Okay.
So,
Uh, where the tool is getting more sophisticated is, and this is where I will take a moment for you to also pause and think through it, is what computer did is it added ability to decide, or when you make a flow chart, you come to a decision box and you say, should we go this way or that way? And there is a decision matrix, right?
yes, sir.
AI is a decision making process on steroid. So basically, the computing power becoming so big and enormous that you are taking this decision making ability to a very different level. Okay. So your computer can process multiple variables, multiple data sets, and can decide, right? So
Yes,
so what will happen is in any system that you are going to design, and now you talked about manufacturing. Manufacturing has a lot of decision making. So if you are machining a part, is the temperature of the tool getting too high, for example, or is the temperature of the work or the object is getting too high? Because what will happen then, you will lose the dimension, right? And that's what you don't want in a machine feature. And so I'm just taking a simple example. So now you can put a loop that, okay, how is this temperature increasing? Can we change the coolant flow if the temperature is increasing too much, right? So what will happen is in any system, wherever there is an element of decision making. So for example, you're driving a car, you know, the car can take a decision on your behalf. Like, okay, is there a pedestrian on the road? Right? Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I stop? And then say, okay, if I stop, is there a vehicle coming from back? Because then you are running a risk of somebody hitting you, right? The point is, I'll take this topic in a very simple way. AI gives you an ability to evaluate a decision real time with multiple data sets.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So AI by itself is not going to change the world.
Mm.
It is just an important tool in the hands of engineer and experts like you. And so the way I will conclude this topic is, you need to upgrade yourself to understanding the tool, like we have spent our time in understanding computers back then. You have to understand what this tool is capable of doing, and then utilize this tool in a way that it can make decision making process easier. Remember one thing, a fast decision is not always a good decision. AI can take a fast decision. Okay?
Yes.
But who will determine that the decision that AI making is a good decision? Because that ultimately will lead to the success of this particular technology in any area, including manufacturing.
Yes, sir.
And the element of how the decision is made is good is in the hand of people who are actually applying this technology. Make sense?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So the world will be using more of AI technology in every situation where you have a decision making. We will be questioning that situation and trying to add a program there. And so the use of artificial intelligence as we know it will only going to increase. But this will not eliminate the need of and the wisdom of engineers, where you decide, how do we make this tool work better within the constraints of physics, within the constraint of legality, ethics, everything else.
Sir,
So,
you
sir,
have.
so, do you think the growth and strategy jobs will be in danger with the upcoming age of AI?
Um, no. And I extend your question to a little bit more, because I also see this when we run these type of change of technology in our organization, that suddenly a implementation of a robot, and colleagues on the manufacturing floor are thinking, oh, do I lose my job? Right. Um, my theory on this topic is, technology is here for us to embrace and put to a better use. Um, the role of natural intelligence, because you're using artificial intelligence for computers, so I'm reserving the natural intelligence with us, with human beings. Yeah. So the role of natural intelligence is in the wisdom. And I'm not cynical. I'm not against artificial intelligence thought process. What I am very clear on is one topic, is the role of us as human beings is only going to enhance. It is not going to diminish by artificial intelligence.
Yes. Sir, you are the managing director of manufacturing process at this assignments. Manage the additive, the 3D printing engine, 3D printing. Sir,
Yeah.
except the additive manufacturing, what innovations and strategy will be coming that will have a significant impact on the manufacturing sector?
Yeah. again, a very good questions. All your questions are excellent, actually. So, um, what are the advancement in manufacturing technique? Hear your question rightly, you're asking what is the future of manufacturing.
Yes, sir.
Um, 3D printing is definitely a technology that is simplifying manufacturing.
Hmm.
And I'm assuming you know 3D printing. We are layer by layer, we fuse the metal using laser. Um,
Yes, sir.
but what I see going forward is the space of design and manufacturing will converge further. So there was a time when you say, I am designing the part in first paper, I'm making an engineering drawing, then I'm going into a CAD model, then
Hmm.
I'm going to work with my manufacturing engineer to decide what is the best way to manufacture it, right?
Hmm.
And now what we are seeing, you design the part in the CAD, you push the button,
Hmm.
and you are able to at least come closer to the manufactured.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We are already here today.
Hmm.
And so what are the skills imperative of this, right? So your design skills, but you also need to be aware of what materials you are going to print these parts on. How is the laser process is changing the material.
Hmm.
Taking this outside of this 3D printing world, I think the world of manufacturing that we are going to witness in the future is the division or the gap between design engineering and manufacturing engineering would not exist,
Okay.
which is actually a beautiful situation. You are why are you designing things? Why are you manufacturing things? Because you are actually designing a product.
Yes, sir.
Why are you designing a product? You are designing a product because the product is serving or solving some problem,
Hmm.
right? You designed a cup. Why are you designing a cup? You want to have a tea, right?
Yes, sir.
The focus has to shift into why you need a product.
Hmm.
And where I'm going with this is the obstacles and challenges of design and manufacturing to realize the product objective will become much less. So you thinking about the product and your time to reach to the product becomes super fast. And this will be a space of computer and then printing, then AI. And so and extend this further. You can actually look into and say to an automated system that, okay, I need a cup which should look cool, or which should look like a cone or like a hexagon. And you can, and I'm getting into a sci-fi type of situation. You can tell the computer that design me a hexagonal cup or produce me a hexagonal cup, and you can actually see a lot of systems operating in that direction. A computer will get into a program, it will produce a CAD of your cup. Maybe it will give you an option to select the color or shape, and you hit a button and you will have the product ready. And I use this cup as an example, and you can extend this to sophisticated components also in the future.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is mind blowing. So definitely, it's a sci-fi thing that we are definitely moving to the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think within our lifetime we will see such things actually happening rather sooner.
Listening to your journey, one thing is very common that you are managing two, three things together, and you have excelled in all of them. So, would you please share some time management hacks?
I, I think again, thank you for asking this. Uh, I will go back to the topic that we have discussed in the beginning. Um, I think if you ask yourself as well, right? Right now you are studying, you are now connecting, alumni like us, finding time to talk, asking some really great question. Uh, you are also doing excellent things here. Um, the topic to explore and emphasize is we are multidimensional, right? When you grow in your house, you sometimes you cook, sometimes you teach your younger siblings, sometimes you go and help your parents. I'm sure this is true to each one of us.
Yes, sir.
What I am asking to do differently is just take a moment to enjoy those things. So if you register that thought in your mind that, oh yeah, yesterday, I was bored and I started cooking. I cooked a dinner and everybody in my family was super happy, right?
Yes, sir.
What you will realize that you have multiple things that drive you in the direction of happiness.
Yes, sir.
Once you register that there are more than one topic that makes you happy, then you start doing more things that keeps you happy. Makes sense, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the only difference that I thought I put my time to register is um, what I do to make myself happy,
Yes, sir.
right? And
Yes,
and
sir.
and then you will rediscover, and I'm addressing to all other students also, that each one of us are fully capable of doing so many things. We should not forget that,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes,
it
sir.
is more of a convincing ourselves that yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can paint, I can draw, I can sing. Maybe nobody would like it, but I can sing alone when I'm taking bath. Yeah. So so this is no different. So understand that you are capable of doing so many things,
Hmm.
and then within those so many things, figure out what actually makes you happy. All
Okay.
right. And then you can actually use that to explore different boundaries.
Hmm. Sir, you went to Harvard Business School also, sir. So,
Yeah.
so how is Harvard Business School different from the IIT Kharagpur, sir?
Um, I don't want to disappoint Harvard people here, but I would say this: uh, the amount of learning and learning opportunities IIT Kharagpur provides is unparalleled. Okay. Um, where does Harvard, makes a difference is, so we had about 126, call it students, in our batch from all different walks of life,
Hmm.
from all parts of the world. And so the class was designed in a way that it was not one culture, not one type of experience that was there.
Hmm.
This to me uh, is an exceptional thing which Harvard does is they design the class with people from all countries of the world,
Hmm.
experience from all parts of I, I grew up into engineering discipline, and I had no chance of having a fellow student who is into movie theater, who is into arts, who is into philosophy, law.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I'm sitting with fellow students who is expert in legal topics, then the other person is experts in finance topic.
Hmm.
And so the perspective that we have seen in the class um, is again of a very different kind. So if I have to compare IIT Kharagpur experience with Harvard experience, IIT Kharagpur, and especially us growing into engineering, science, and discipline, uh, we were focusing into, I would not call it unidimensional in a true sense, but sort of a more focused group focusing into engineering, science, and technology. And truly that is the focus.
Yes, sir.
There are elements of other. There is humanities, there is gymkhana, there is secretary and other activities. There is a drama club. So all those topics are there in IIT Kharagpur. That's why I say that the experience there is excellent. But what Harvard brought is uh, excellent people in different walks of life from different parts of the world doing different things in their life all together and put them into one single class.
Awesome.
And so the learning was happening in all directions. And sometimes we get into the feeling that it is Harvard that is teaching. Yes, we had excellent faculty, but the teaching was happening from all directions.
Yes, sir. Sir, what's the one piece of advice that you would give a young KGPN who is studying in the IIT KGP right now?
If you want me to give in KGP language, then I can use that.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
So that would be great, sir.
We still call Janta there, right? Or what do we call?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
All
Janta.
right. Acha. So, I mean, it's I have to rethink to condition my language in KGP world, but I will try. So, you know, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है आप किस डिपार्टमेंट में हो, राइट? कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, सबसे पहला, ठीक है, try to do the best you can and discover yourself a little bit more. Gain yourself, not lose yourself. Yeah, gain yourself. What we have seen, and especially me myself included, my friends, there is definitely a never-ending comparison in the first year or second year that okay, I did not get computer science, so I'm like forever, back of the line. I don't know what is the case right now. It does not matter. Okay. Very strongly, it does not matter. Now, what matters? What matters is do your defined course that has been defined for you, because the risk is very high if you don't do well in your defined course. So de-risk yourself, right? At the minimum, you need to pass that course with some decent score. And I agree totally that if I am doing let's say naval arc, I did not want it to, then I have my right to not do well. And then six chaggi is okay, and I can get some P's and an F, that is okay. So that's a red flag. I would say that don't get into those mode. That's my first advice. That do as best as you can. But then the other aspect of life is there is so much to learn and grow into different areas. This 4 year of opportunities is a exceptional opportunities to utilize. Make friends, because some of your friends will stay for your life. Last and only one piece of advice: stay curious and continue to learn. It doesn't stop when you graduate, and it should not stop.
Yes, sir.
What defines you for rest of your life is your ability to learn, not what department, what course you enrolled yourself in.